All right, the morgue scene.
Oh,
Louie's Willie.
Yeah.
Member.
One of my favorite things about the morgue is the performances of the actors. So
100%.
Sandra Scragg and Jennifer Corbridge.
Hi, this is Sandra Scragg. From Friday the 13th Vengeance to Bloodlines, I played the medical examiner.
Ah, yes, that.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Corbridge, and I portrayed the assistant medical examiner in the morgue that, that plucked the pickle and sent it off to the Icelandic Phallological Museum.
So, are we not going to talk about this whole situation?
They're amazing. They just completely sold the whole scene.
She gave us the script. She's like, you're not ready for this. And I was like, what could it possibly be? And so I was reading it. I was like, oh, yes. I was so excited.
Yeah. The lines were great. They were just perfect for some comedic timing. And
Sandra nailed it. She had that strong presence, very authoritative.
here's me, the stiff upper lip kind of medical examiner, in the midst of all this chaos.
And I needed that because the content, obviously, was very funny. And it could go really wrong and it could look like we're trying too hard. So I really needed someone who could be an anchor and really sell that whole scene.
So ridiculous, but in all the good ways,
Jennifer, she had also auditioned and she played that role very differently. And when she did, she was a little more lighthearted, a little funny, and she had more of a comedic tone. And so I wrote the extra part in for her.
It was just so much fun. It was a great scene.
It was a very memorable day.
We filmed in a real morgue, the Snohomish County Medical Examiner's office.
And I was freezing my ass off, so thanks for that.
Sorry,
It was so cold in there. And I felt so sorry for the rest of the talent who had to lie there pretty much naked on the cold tables.
In my head, I was like, the last time it was like 19 degrees outside in freezing rain and you're naked, and I was felt that. And then this time I'm like, we're gonna be inside, it's gonna be great, climate control.
In a freezer, yeah.
In a freezer, in a morgue.
All in all, it was a super fun scene to shoot. I had a great time.
I am interested to see how this turns out because I could not stay still for the life of me. Like everything was twitching and just.
Oh, you can't tell at all. You were the perfect dead body.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We got to play with blood. Got to play with a penis.
But it was an honor to be a dead body next to you.
It was an honor to be freezing next to you.
So, handling the member it just got into the spirit of things, and we were all having fun. And
I obviously have no prior experience severing a penis off of a cadaver or anything else.
going on filming the actual scene, actually handling the member, that was also something new. We'd rehearsed it a little bit.
The member. I loved the way that she said that.
His member?
Yeah, member.
So
it was great. It was gold.
And shout out to my sidekick in blue, as she was referred to, Jennifer Corbridge.
And I really didn't know as an actor where to draw some kind of realistic reference point.
She did an amazing, amazing job. She played my technician, my assistant.
It was so fun watching Jennifer. She's all,
And just glancing over at her now and then, sawing away at the member.
I ended up just imagining, just like many a Halloween, that I was taking the stem off a pumpkin.
I was hard-pressed to not burst out laughing on several occasions. It was hilarious.
And it was so fun to make the prop too.
And then, of course, the penis prop, we're like, oh yeah, we cast that out.
Yeah.
And stuff. And,
and I was
really?
like, congrats.
It was very interesting doing that research and having that like browser history of like penis in formaldehyde. What does the inside look like? All this stuff.
all right, so when I die and you guys see me come through, I won't have this beard on or whatever, but if you remember me or recognize me, say hi, and you're like, that's not why we're gonna recognize you.
We're like, you don't even see your face.
Yeah.
I was hit up for advice on, specimens and how they look in jars, like in the movies,
Yep.
they're in like this dark, and if they're in there for a while, of course, the formalin or whatever is gonna become more pigmented.
Formaldehyde.
Yeah. But when it's fresh and put in there, it's clear, and that is totally accurate. So thank you for asking me on that.
Louie Carlisle.
Best.
The best. Oh, thank you. Everyone loves him for some reason.
Here's a little bit of history. I made a film called Happy Trails a long time ago, and I needed a really grumpy store owner to be in that scene. And I wanted to be this cranky, old, curmudgeon kind of redneck guy. But the director of photography, Ryan Saplinski, was trying to help me find some people as well and come up with some ideas and concepts. And so I went in the garage, threw on a hat, threw on a bandage over my arm to cover the tattoo, threw on a fake beard, and just kind of looked the part that I had in my head, and had my son go out and film me. And I sent it to him, and he said, "You obviously have to play this part." I was like, no, I'm directing. I don't want to be in the movie. I'm just going to direct this. And he's like, "No, you have to play this role." And I did. And there Louie was born. And then fast forward, while we're filming Vengeance, the director Jeremy Brown on the first Vengeance, he said, "I want to add Louie to this movie. Do you mind if we use that character?" And I thought about it, and I said, well, as long as I can control the dialogue and his lines, then yeah, because I like the character. And he said, absolutely. So I did. I played Louie in there, obviously, which was his second movie, and then everyone seemed to love him. It was a fan favorite. People loved him. I get fan mail all the time for Louie, about Louie. He's got his own Facebook page. He's got his own life. And since Vengeance came out, I've been asked to play Louie in 6 other projects. So he's got his own, he's got his own thing going without me. And each time he kind of ramps up, and each person that reaches out, they want him part of their movie. He gets more and more crass, more and more out there, which is fun. I like taking that character as far as we can take it.
Well, he's the complete opposite of you as a person too, which I think is part of why it's so fun, because anyone who's ever met you or interacted with you online even knows that that's just not who you are. And so to see you being this weird, gross old man making these jokes, and it's so fun, and I feel like that's part of why I love the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun to be something completely different than who you are. Louie has this way of being able to be offensive but likable. Each time I think, okay, this is too far, then it doesn't, and people like him even more. And after Vengeance, when I started getting asked about being in more films and more projects, the very next one, the director asked if Louie could do a nude scene, and I had to think about that a lot. And I was like, well, if it's funny, if it makes sense, then yeah, why not? So.
And Louie would.
And Louie would. Yeah. That's totally the character. Louie doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. So we did. So we did that. And then the next one was a TV show where they were like, you'll be naked in this bathroom, falling down here and there and stuff. And it just became this ongoing theme. So as people who love the character came and asked me to be part of their projects, they started writing those things in, because that's their idea of who the character is also. It kind of evolved. And so I was like, yeah, Louie doesn't care. So that's part of that evolution as well, which now carries over obviously into Bloodlines. In the middle of all those requests to be in movies and TV shows, and to have those nude scenes as Louie, I also got 2 requests from magazines where they were like, hey, we want you to pose nude as Louie in these magazines, which was like, what is going on here? I made him to be undesirable, I made him to be unlikable, I made him to be non-sexy, and now everybody wants him to be part of their projects without clothes.
Was there something I said?
We had a lot of fan requests asking us to bring Louie back into the movie, and obviously his head got ripped off in the first Vengeance.
Yeah.
I was not going to be able to bring him back without a flashback or something crazy, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time doing a flashback on this side character. People had said, oh, just make it a twin brother, make it anything, we just need more Louie. I thought about having an end credit scene where Kelly, who plays Angelica, is in a little canoe out in the water on the river, and then Louie jumps out of the water and grabs her. And as we watched that rough cut, we had a test audience who saw it, and they said they loved it. However, They were missing some information. They didn't remember some of the events from the first Vengeance. They were like, who's Relati? Who is Elias? Why is Angelica running around holding her side? And so we realized, oh, we have to update the audience and bring them up to speed from the first Vengeance. So Cody Newton, the director of photography, and I, we were talking about it, and we said we just need to add a scene where maybe one police officer is passing information to the next police officer. And we also wanted to introduce Deputy Forrester a little bit earlier in the film as well. Cody had said, well, we don't want to do it in the woods. We don't want to be in the opposite. Again, we'd have something unique. So I thought about it, and I was like, well, what about a morgue? What if we're doing autopsies on the first victims? It's a good segue because it's only a couple weeks after the first movie. It'd be a good opportunity to bring some of the original cast back. Cody loved the idea. He came back and said, well, you know who has to be in the morgue? Louie. You got to put Louie in there. And I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant. And then he won't admit it. But he said, well, if you put Louie in the morgue, you're going to have to do a boner joke. So I laughed because I thought that was hilarious. But I didn't want it to just be a basic boner joke that, you know, oh, he's pitching a tent under the blanket, haha, you know. I need to go a little bit further. And then I remembered seeing a documentary on Netflix a while ago about the Phallological Museum in Iceland. And I decided Louie should be the one to do that. That's something that he would do. So we wrote that in the script that during this autopsy, they'd be cutting that off and then donate that to the Icelandic Phallological Museum.
Which is real. Look it up.
It's a real thing. So the morning of filming, we get up early, come downstairs. We have 2 massage tables that we have laid out here. One for me, one for Dian Priince, and who's the other body in the morgue who played Marilyn Evans in Vengeance. And so she and I laid side by side, completely butt naked, and got body painted by Naomi and team.
So yeah, I posted the autopsy picture of me that Instagram took down. But you got a lot of compliments on how like authentic your autopsy are.
I had to work and I couldn't get it off. I'm really sad about that because I really wanted to be part of like the corpse painting.
How long did it take to do my makeup? Says James Holloman.
It was, well, we started with mine. We were both, because we laid there in the same room. We had the makeup artist doing both at the same time.
I would say it was probably 4, if not 5 or 6.
Yeah, it was quite
a while. It was a
because
while.
we had to apply all the prosthetics and then do the whole body painting, and we're running out of time.
We had to get to the autopsy place, so like we ended up being like 3 or 4 people just like spackling shit on at the end. So just go. Even you, Jason. I think you were in on it. I was like,
and help finish body painting Diana. So we can get done.
First question from Joe Payne. I got to know, was the corpse bone or prosthetic because the dead wood doodle was reaching for a moon? So about that.
Perfect question. Thank you.
All right.
We, of course, are both special effects artists. We do a lot of body casting, life casting, prop making type stuff. And so we were like, all right, easiest way to come up with a penis, instead of trying to sculpt it and spend all this time and having it not quite look just right, we were like, let's just cast Jason.
That's an actual life cast of my dick.
We just cast it in the bathroom, and you know, it was weird though because I don't know what the inside of a penis looks like from my life experience. Like I've never seen that.
You've never filleted one?
Not yet.
Mr. Carlyle was an organ donor, and as such left explicit instructions to donate his member to the Icelandic Phallological Museum.
It's a penis museum. It's a thing. Look it up.
Okay. So when the movie is out, talk to the museum, because I was like, you know what? Here's this whole scene. We mention the museum very prominently. Talk about this whole thing with the joke. I want them to be okay with it. I hope they're okay with it. And they loved it. They said it was really great, and they would actually love to have the penis prop on display in their museum.
Pretty cool. Life imitates art. Incredible.
It blows my mind. I remember getting the email from them, from the curator, where he says, I would love to put this in the museum and put it on display. They'll make me an honorary lifetime member. I get a plaque, some medals. We have this great certificate over here that I have on the wall. They gave me a lifetime honorary membership for me as well as for Louie.
Hearing the news that we were going to be on display at the Phallological Museum in Iceland, that
Yeah, a prop that I handled.
No, I didn't. I had no idea that even
I never heard of it either.
That's on my places of where I'm gonna visit.
It's now on mine too.
That's pretty cool.
I told my husband, he just said like, big eyes.
And now it's on display in an international museum.
Oh, and you're in it. So in the museum, so
there are scenes from the movie, there's stills from the movie, and
penis is in a jar. It's on display there with a little plaque, and then there's a shadow box that has stills from the movie.
I did entertain the thought of being a museum curator for a while. I love history.
And there's a picture of you in your scene.
Well, I'm honored to be in the Penis Museum in Iceland.
I didn't quite ever picture myself being an actual display, or part of a display in a museum, and certainly not one that's called the Phallological Museum.
I remember getting the email from the curator, and I just the feeling of excitement and awesomeness and disbelief.
It's really appreciated, and I'm glad that you're getting your awards and getting your penis in museums.
And I remember having to go make a whole bunch of phone calls, a whole bunch of Marco Polos and stuff, video messaging friends and everyone going, oh my God, you'll never believe what just happened.
Yep.
The member is standing proud and happily in its jar.
We're really happy that everybody's enjoyed it, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yeah. It was all of it was so good. It was so funny and so fun and so.
But anyway, I think it's hilarious. I think the display looks fantastic.
Well, I just really think it's incredible, like all you've done. Like I've seen this whole process happen, and I'm just like such a big fan of you. And Naomi came in, and just like your effects, your makeup, everything, just all of it. So good. Be proud of you.
Thank you so much.
So all in all, it was great fun. I had a great time filming it, and Jason and Naomi and the team, thank you so much for inviting me and making me a part of the Friday 13th Vengeance family. It's been a blast, and I hope we can do it again.
And we had the option. We could either just mail it to them, or we could go in person and deliver it.
Why wouldn't we go in person and deliver it?
Babe,
What are we doing tomorrow?
We're going to Iceland!
Why?
To put your penis in a museum.
What?
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Okay, we're back. What are we gonna do?
We are going to Iceland, to the Icelandic Phallological Museum, to put the phallus in the museum.
I mean, what else are we gonna do?
We're gonna go see the Northern Lights. We're going to the Blue Lagoon. We are going to eat some food.
But not sheep face, not whale blubber, not fermented shark, and not testicles.
Yeah. If anyone has recommendations for a vegetarian going to Iceland, please help me.
Babe! Where are we going?
We're on our way to the airport to go to Iceland. We're gonna pick up Laura and Bob. Laura is one of the co-stars in the movie and also one of Jason's co-workers.
So is Bob.
We're so excited.
And Laura played Detective Carter. She was in the morgue scene with Louie there. And so she and her husband Bob are going to accompany us to Iceland. It's going to be a great time. More to come.
We are on our way to the airport right now to go to Iceland. This guy's getting inducted into the Icelandic Phallological Museum. We're gonna see the Northern Lights. We're gonna go to the Blue Lagoon. It's gonna be amazing. So excited.
Okay, we just made it through TSA, and of course they stopped to pull my bag, and they pulled the penis out because they want to verify that it's safe to fly.
Yep. The look on his face was
priceless. It had like 3 or 4 guys all come over to come check it out. We told them that it was a live cast that affects people just going in the museum, and the guy at the end was like, I could check that off my bucket list. And so they're all very, very cool about it and very interested. But here we go, on to Iceland. All right, we are on the plane. We're getting ready to go to Iceland.
So exciting.
I'm Jason.
I'm Naomi.
And we are on our way to Iceland.
To go deliver a penis to the Phallological Museum. His penis.
You're watching Band Wars.
so far we've made it.
Yeah.
Cold
It's so
as-
cold. It's so cold.
So cold.
We're in Iceland.
We're in Iceland.
We're in the airport right now. Exit to Iceland.
Here we go. This guy here, still at the airport. We're about to go deliver the penis to the museum. Looks like these guys already donated though. Come on, let's go do it. Sunrise on one side, moon on the other. Iceland.
We're in Iceland. Oh. It's so pretty.
It is, and look at everything around us too.
And there they are, the Naomi and the Wild taking a photo of the food for social media. Watch as this beauty gets closer.
Thank you.
Ta-da!
You don't look like a tourist.
Bad Wars!
Hi, and welcome to Lemmy in Iceland.
Here at Lemmy's Holy Spirit in Iceland, one of the oldest buildings still standing here in Iceland. And Wars.
Bad Wars!
But where are we going?
Good morning. It is 8 a.m. We are in Reykjavík. Not much happens here in the morning, I guess. There's like no people, nothing going on really. So
Coffee shops don't open until like 9 or 10.
Yeah, a lot of places don't open until 10 or even 11, noon, some of the places. But we found one that's going to open at, or that did open at 7. So we're going to adventure down there. And
Very pretty.
it's very pretty here. So nice. And it's not actually all that cold when you have the right jackets and things.
All right, we are here in Iceland, and we are outside of the Icelandic Phallological Museum. We're gonna go in, and we're gonna go see the display. We're here. Laura Hunter, Detective Carter, Bob, and of course Naomi. All right, here we go.
There it is.
Getting a beard. The Moby Dick, Icelandic penis ale, Big Cock Ale, the Phallic Lager,
This is
and
Big Cock
Dick
Ale.
Johnson's Big Cock Ale. Cheers.
Cheers. I got my Big Cock Ale here.
This is nuts. Literally.
Just hanging out by a scrotum chandelier. Casual.
We're at the Phallological Museum with
Yes.
my Moby Dick Pale Ale.
I have my Big Cock Ale.
And this guy, this
This
gigantic
is the sperm whale.
sperm whale,
Yes.
he's I think he's the star of the show here. All kinds of crazy things. What'd you think?
Pretty cool. Very cool. I'm learning so many new things today.
Make sure to hit the gift shop on the way out.
Yes.
Elephant. Jimi Hendrix? This is Seattle time. Okay, babe. People are gonna come walking through this museum, through here, and they're gonna see my penis.
Yes.
What do you think?
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be
It's
lots
amazing.
of people coming
It's
through
amazing.
here.
I can
And
share
there it
my gift to the world.
We are here at the Icelandic Phallological Museum where we have the penis on display for the very first time.
Hi, I'm Naomi Miller, one of the makeup and special effects artists at Real Fiction Studios.
Hi, my name's Laura Hunter, and I play Detective Carter in Friday the 13th, Vengeance, Bloodlines Part 2.
We are here at the Icelandic Phallological Museum where we are dropping off the prop of Louie's penis.
We are here in Iceland today so that we can drop off a cast of Jason's penis.
It is finally here. They're going to be adding it to a new expansion.
And it is going to be a permanent exhibit here. They've made Jason an honorary member, and they're going to expand the museum. No pun there.
I just wanted to walk you through the process of how we made it. So, we did a life cast on Jason, cast it in alginate. So we had a negative mold and then poured silicone into that. So we got this positive, we painted it all up, made it look a little bit dead, a little bit, kind of blue, purpley gray. The entire thing is a life cast, except for this little
severed part in there. Obviously, we could not sever his actual penis, so we did some research and sculpted this little part, attached it on the bottom, but everything else is a cast.
So in the new expansion of the museum, this will have an amazing new home.
Jason's penis! And there it is. Never leave home without it. All right, we're about to head out, so we just want to stop and say thank you to the Icelandic Phallological Museum for this amazing opportunity.
So great. It is so incredible to have, not only have my work in a film, but have it be in an official museum like this. Yeah, it's so cool.
So if you're ever coming to Iceland, make sure you stop by the Icelandic Phallological Museum and come visit my penis. Tag me in it. Let me know you've been here and saw it. Send pictures, anything like that. All right, bye.